Respect is not something people decide to give you. It's something their brain automatically assigns to you, often before you even finish your first sentence. Most people never realize this because they think respect is earned through words, arguments, achievements, or dominance. They believe it comes from proving intelligence, confidence, or authority. But psychology tells a far less obvious and far more uncomfortable truth. Respect is decided before logic arrives. In fact, by the time you start explaining yourself, the decision has already been made. Within the first 3 seconds of interaction, the human nervous system scans you for one thing. Are you stable enough to be taken seriously? Not impressive, not likable, stable. This evaluation happens below consciousness. The other person is not aware it's happening, but their body is. Their nervous system is. And once that judgment is made, everything you say afterward is filtered through it. This is why some people can say very little and still command respect, while others explain endlessly and never quite get it. The difference isn't confidence, it isn't tone of voice, it isn't even posture in the way most people think. It's something much more subtle and much more powerful. To understand it, you have to understand how the brain processes social hierarchy. The human brain evolved in environments where status mattered for survival. Being able to quickly assess who was emotionally grounded, who was reactive, and who was unstable was essential. As a result, the brain developed shortcuts. Fast, instinctive evaluations based on microsignals. One of the strongest of these signals is temporal control. In simple terms, who controls the rhythm of the interaction? The brain subconsciously associates control over timing with competence, authority, and emotional regulation. People who rush, react instantly, or fill silence too quickly are perceived as uncertain, even if their words are intelligent. People who move slightly slower than the emotional tempo of the room are perceived as solid. This brings us to the 3-second psychology trick. The moment that decides respect is not when you speak, it's when you don't. When someone finishes talking, especially when they ask you a question. Most people respond immediately. They rush to answer, eager to prove value, clarity, intelligence, or confidence. But the brain doesn't interpret speed as strength. It interprets speed as reactivity. The most respected individuals do something different. They pause, not awkwardly, not dramatically, just long enough to signal that their response is chosen, not triggered. Roughly 2 to 3 seconds. This pause does 3 things simultaneously. First, it regulates the emotional field. Silence forces the nervous system of the other person to slow down. Their brain adjusts to your rhythm. Instead of you adapting to them, they adapt to you. Second, it signals internal stability. A person who can tolerate silence without anxiety is perceived as grounded. Grounded people are trusted. Trusted people are respected. Third, and this is critical, it reframes the power dynamic. The pause subtly communicates, I am not pressured by your question. I am not rushed by this moment. And the brain translates that as authority. This is not manipulation. It is nervous system signaling. Studies on conversational dominance consistently show that people who allow brief pauses before responding are rated as more confident, more competent, and more leader-like even when their actual answers are identical. The content doesn't change, the timing does. What makes this so powerful is that it works even if the other person doesn't consciously notice the pause. Their body notices it for them. You can see this effect everywhere once you start looking for it. Watch how experienced leaders speak. Watch how surgeons explain decisions. Watch how judges, negotiators, and high-level executives respond to questions. They don't rush. They let silence do part of the work. Contrast this with someone who answers instantly, fills every gap, over-explains, or nervously adds extra information. Even if they're correct, their nervous system is broadcasting uncertainty. Respect is not about being right. It's about being regulated. This is why trying to act confident often backfires. Acting requires effort. Effort creates tension. Tension is detected instantly. True authority is quiet because it doesn't need to defend itself. The pause is not empty time. It's psychological space. And in that space, the brain of the other person recalibrates its expectations. Here's where most people misunderstand this technique. They think the pause is the trick. It isn't. The pause is the signal. The real mechanism is what the pause represents: emotional self-control. If you pause while internally panicking, the effect collapses. Your micro-expressions, breathing, and muscle tension will contradict the silence. The nervous system always tells the truth. This is why the pause must come from calm, not strategy. You're not waiting to appear smart. You're allowing your response to emerge instead of react. This is also why this technique works across cultures, contexts, and hierarchies. Whether it's a job interview, a confrontation, a date, or a casual conversation, the nervous system reads the same signals. Who is settled? Who is reactive? People don't respect emotional volatility, even when it's hidden behind words. Another critical element happens after the pause. When you finally speak, your words land differently, because now the brain is listening. The pause creates anticipation. Anticipation increases attention. Attention amplifies perceived importance. The exact same sentence, delivered after a brief silence, is interpreted as more thoughtful and more intentional. This is why respected people often speak less, but are heard more. They don't compete for airtime. They command it. There's a second layer to this effect that most people miss. When you pause, you are also giving the other person time to reflect on what they just said. Often, they will unconsciously soften their position, clarify themselves, or even adjust their tone without you saying anything. Silence creates self-awareness, and people tend to respect those who make them more aware of themselves. This is also why silence can feel uncomfortable. It removes distractions. It exposes internal noise. But the person who can hold silence without discomfort is perceived as strong. Not aggressive, not dominant. Strong. Respect grows in the absence of desperation, and desperation is almost always communicated through speed. Fast responses, fast explanations, fast justifications. The 3-second pause breaks that pattern. It tells the nervous system, nothing here is urgent. Nothing here threatens me. And the brain follows that signal. The irony is that this technique requires doing less, not more. No special posture, no vocal tricks, no scripted lines, just restraint. In a world obsessed with performance, restraint feels unnatural, but it is one of the clearest markers of authority the brain recognizes. This is why people often say things like, "I don't know why, but I take them seriously." They can't articulate it. their nervous system already decided. And once respect is established at that level, everything else becomes easier. Your words are given more weight. Your boundaries are accepted more readily. Your presence alone shifts the dynamic, not because you demanded it, because you signaled stability. And stability is rare. Most people are rushing through thoughts, through speech, through life. The person who moves slightly slower instantly stands out. The 3-second pause is not about silence. It's about owning the moment instead of being owned by it. And once you understand that, you stop chasing respect. You let it come to you.